Welcome back, and many thanks for staying with us right here on the #1 breakfast show in the country. Like I did mention, there's an uptick in the number of cases owed to COVID-19 that we are registering on the international scene. So it is imperative before you leave the humble confines of your home, please ensure that you are not only arming yourself with a face mask, but you're actually wearing one. Covering your mouth, covering your nostrils, those are the sensitive parts through which you can inhale the COVID-19 pathogens and affect the next individual. So keep yourself safe. The Canadians also donated some 1.9 million vaccines as of yesterday. So that is good news. Please go and clamor for these vaccinations. So far, they are kept at 4.8 million vaccinations. We need to do more. And of course, let's talk about the 5th edition of the Chief Financial Officer Awards, organized by the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants of Uganda. And also Deloitte is here. And this year, the awards are running under the theme Finance Leaders as Drivers of Sustainability. In the studio with me, I'm now joined by Miss Charlotte Kukunda, the interim head of the, that is ACCA Uganda, and Moses Cadbury, one of the winners, 2019, 2020, and is also the Chief Financial Officer for Tugende, winner of the 2020 Socio, that is the CFO Social Impact and SME Sector Awards at last year's awards, to share with us what's in store in this year's awards. A very good morning, Kukunda and Moses. Thank you for joining me right here on Morning at NTV.
Thank you.
Morning, and thank you for having us.
The 5th edition of the CFO Awards. Please tell us about the inception of these awards. What prompted you to come up or birth this very amazing idea to award those with ethical values as far as finance is concerned?
Thank you for asking. The 5th edition means we've been at the game for the last 4 years.
Indeed.
This year is our 5th birthday, and we are quite excited about it.
Right.
So many initiatives start, and they can't hold for more than 3 or 2 years, like you very well know.
Indeed.
So we decided as a professional body, in partnership with Deloitte, to recognize people who are doing so well, and this is to celebrate, success, excellence, but also to raise the profile of chief finance officers, because in this country, if you asked a child some time back what they want to be as an adult, they would easily say medical doctor, lawyer, engineer. There are those professions that are known. But as we speak about accounting, it's now becoming really known that for businesses and organizations to thrive, they need very good finance officers.
I don't know about your time, Ms. Kukunda, but during my time, the women, when they were young, whenever they would be asked, what do you want to be? They would say, I want to be an accountant. I want to do something with numbers. I want to be an accountant. But then I was looking at the CFO Awards, and men have been winning more than the women. And I was like, where are the women? Where are those young girls I used to see back in the day, clamoring to become accountants or financial leaders, if you
You're actually not wrong. In the last 7 to probably 8 years, we've seen a shift in the number of females that are enrolling for professional qualifications, and probably also because that offering that was given to women way back, it has helped to increase the number of women that go up to university level.
Right.
So we are seeing a trajectory where we have 50% of the entrants now being female. So we also have a tagline of the future finance is female, which means while in the past we had female. While in the past we had more men, we're actually seeing more students and more that are completing and graduating as female. So our membership is tilting. It's still at 44% women and more men, but that is likely to change.
Could it be because of the issue that accounts is usually, there's a big correlation between accounts and corruption, and you do have this country that is actually coming up with a report courtesy of the IGG that in the last 10 years we've been losing over 20 to 22 trillion Uganda shillings to corruption. Me, as one person, I do know that women shun initiatives or shun professionals that are riddled with bad news, bad images, bad PR. There's too much corruption in accountants. Accountants, I won't go there as a woman. Could that be the reason?
That's a compliment for our agenda. That's a compliment for our agenda. But I would like to look at this broadly. I think corruption is not necessarily gender-based, male or female. And as we get more people professionalizing...
But it's usually on the male side.
that's
I'm telling you,
what
women
you're
have a good
saying.
heart of the country. That's why we are saying we need to put more women in position of leadership if there is going to be development, realized in Africa and many other jurisdictions. If women are not in positions of power because you care more for the country, before you swindle 100 million Ugandan shillings, you're going to think some young child somewhere won't be having a meal on the table. But for a man,
Yes, we
that's a
are.
conversation for
We
another
probably
day.
are more caring, but when I look at
Compassionate.
compassionate as well. But when I look at the professional and ethical standards, they apply to all. And the women that have taken on the accounting role, I think what has also benefited them is accounting is no longer just about the back office kind of, number crunching, as they usually say. There's a multiplicity of, skills, and we are very good at having all these skills at play and, putting them to use. So I personally feel that the way that the finance role or the profession of accounting and finance has, changed to embrace leadership, to embrace, management, to embrace even, other things has also enabled the women to relate to it more and probably appear like they're doing, a little bit more in terms of the ethical standards and professional standards, unlike the gents. But when you look at the set standards, professional and ethical standards, which we hold highly as SCCA, it's really cutting across. And our members, as long as they're professionals, should be subscribing to these standards.
Indeed. And of course, the Association of us, that is Chartered Certified Accountants of Uganda, is actually expediting the 5th edition of the Chief Financial Officer Awards. They want to award those individuals who have espoused very ethical values as far as finance is concerned. One of those individuals who won twice, that is 2018 and 2019. 2019 and 2020. That is Moses Kagbo. He's with us right now. But before I engage Moses Kagbo, we want to know what is different in this year's Chief Financial Officer Awards with Ms. Kukunda. Ms. Kukunda, briefly hint on what we should expect in this year's awards.
It's a new year and a new theme. And this theme, finance leaders as drivers of sustainability, is really focusing us and what the award seeks to, achieve on the issues that are running the show right now. Sustainability is very key. So we're going to be looking out for those professionals or CFOs that have put into consideration the environment, their social impact, governance issues in their reporting. But beyond that, we've come from a tumultuous, 2 years. And the first year was a bit of a shocker. But the second year, it is at least assumed that people had already done their learning, and you're putting into place all that you had envisaged as either the opportunities or what you need to stop doing. So this particular, as SCCA, we've also done a research piece, professional accountants at the heart of sustainable organizations, which we shall also be hinging on when we are reviewing these nominations. The new competences that have been identified speak to the times. What is necessary now and what is necessary tomorrow? In the last 4 years, we're reviewing people's performance based on the competences like, we call them professional quotients. But right now we're looking at things like digital, very, very critical. Sustainability is key. Expertise and ethics is very key. But then issues like collaboration, insight, drive, is the CFO demonstrating this at their workplace? And in the, in the past year, how have they turned around to give this organization of business the future that this business needs? And to conclude on this particular one, SCCA Uganda and Deloitte started the CFO Awards, but they've been embraced by the region because we're a global organization. So whoever is competing in this particular one will be taken for a regional hit to be identified whether they are suitable for CFO Awards Africa.
And of course, one member who has been suitable twice has to be Moses Kagbo, 2019 and 2020. Before this conversation, I did ask him, is he Ugandan? He said he's from Sierra Leone, but he's going to be engaging us with more details pertaining to who he really is. A very good morning, Moses Kagbo. Please, who is Moses Kagbo? Interest my viewers with those details, and then we talk about your first win in 2019. How did it come about, and how have you continued with life since then?
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you
Moses.
for having me. Moses is the head of finance for Tugende Limited. Tugende is a social impact enterprise. We tend to provide opportunities for the lower privileged people in the country by giving them an opportunity to be employed. So you mentioned I'm from Sierra Leone. Yes, I'm from Sierra Leone, West Africa. I've been in this country for close to 13 years, so this is my home in theory. I'm adopted now by Uganda.
Glad to have you.
Yes, yes. So so that's my role at Tugenda is to ensure what Charlotte alluded to, the sustainability of the organization by creating more opportunities with added ethical values in front. It has to be. As a finance professional, you have to show ethics. Without ethics, you cannot lead a finance team. And the organization cannot be sustainable. Because you mentioned corruption earlier in your opening statement. If at all, as finance leader, we are honed with the responsibility to manage investors' finances. People giving you the trust, right? Their money, they said, you are in charge. You have the key to execute, to make those decisions. And then if you are imbalanced by your decision making, then that organization will face countless number of issues, and you run into fraud issues in the future.
And if it's a country, it will be trouble. We'll be riddled in generational cycles of poverty and so forth. We give you 100 billion, you only give us 2 billion in that regard. So let's talk about these awards, because you did tell me Tugenda was an initiative you had birthed even before winning the award in 2019. So largely the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic found this business pretty much still alive. So how did it affect the whole initiative, Tugenda?
Yes, correct. So Tugenda had been in existence for quite a number of years, started in 2012, 2013, but picked up around 2015, 2016. So by the time we get to the awards, on 2019, where I won the first Finance Transformation Award, we had already at the trajectory of growing, right? And one of our core values at Tugenda is always growing. And from what I can give you in summary terms, from when I joined Tugenda in 2016, when we were just less than 2,000 clients and less than 3 branches. So 2019, we're approaching 10 plus branches, and we had over 14,000 clients. From where I sit today, we have over close to 30,000 clients active, and we have completed over 15,000 clients. And in Uganda alone, we have close to 30 branches across the country, and we have an expansion in Kenya, and hopefully very soon in another new country location. So yes, Tugenda has birthed before the awards. And I think also the awards emphasize how me as a professional and the company as a whole drive towards sustainability and ethics.
You know, the viewer is hearing Tugenda, but they don't actually understand what Tugenda really is. Explain to us what Tugenda really is. And if the viewer is watching, they want to subscribe, how do they do it?
Yeah, sure. Tugenda, I mentioned earlier, it's a social enterprise. What we do is we provide lease-to-own asset, right? Lease-to-own asset. And our primary product, we started with motorcycles, whereby as a client, like you said, for the viewers, how they can subscribe. You can just walk into Tugenda as a company. We have offices in Bukoto, all over the country. And subscribe that you want to participate in the lease to own. It's a finance lease to own. So what does that mean? We will give you an asset, right? For example, motorcycle riders, we have significant number of clients in the industry. They will subscribe, just pay less than 10% of the application fee, and then we'll provide them with a motorcycle package. What comes along with the motorcycle package includes insurance, for life insurance, right, for them and their families in case they have accident, and also protection gears, right? We empower them to be safe on the road. And furthermore, we give them driving permit. All our 30,000 riders have valid driving permit, which we sure it has been an issue in the country.
Back to the CFO Awards, Moses. Has anything changed for you as a winner of the Socio Impact and SME Sector Awards?
Yes, certainly. With award comes more responsibilities, right? So as a person, I tend to pay more attention now to what I do, how I do it, when and where I do it, right? And you have to create that level of, the award create this testament into your ethical values, and because of that, people are looking to you, right? As a winner and a leader of a CFO award, people are looking to every decision you take, every action you take in the company. So certainly, yes.
So you have to watch what you do.
Exactly.
I see. Any challenges that you've actually encountered along the way?
Challenges, there will always be challenges, right? But one empowerment the ACCA bring to us as members, right? And from affiliates to membership to fellowship,
I
is
see.
provide you with that level of confidence to execute, right? You are always being empowered, you are being educated to create that consistent drive towards, I will not say perfection, but nearness to perfection. That's who we are as
So,
CCA.
in your sphere as Tugende, what would amount to unethical values or practices within your sphere as Tugende?
Oh, yes, for sure. Tugende as a company, our business model is where we give clients motorcycles, right? And then we ask them to pay for their leases in any platform, right? So, and we have managers who monitors those portfolios, right? So apparently, if our managers are meeting the client directly for cash in payment, which we as a company, we do not allow.
Unethical, number one.
Unethical, number one.
Number two.
Number two, if we have a stringent application and vetting process, right? So if our managers who are in charge, our customer service team who are in charge of allowing our client to go through the right procedure in applying by meeting them directly and asking them for money in order to put them up the list for application and disbursement, that is unethical.
So that is also not allowed.
It's
Dear
not
viewer,
allowed.
we also do know that the Association of the Chartered Certified Accountants of Uganda also has a list of individuals who have been certified. So don't just go and work with any accountant or financial officers. And if you actually exhibit any unscrupulous behavior, they pluck you off.
That's true.
They pluck you off of that list. Help us and enlighten us on that initiative. How does it work?
We have governance structures as a body, a professional body, and all bodies, professional accounting bodies, have this as long as they subscribe to the International Federation of Accountants, which is the global body that governs all these PAOs. So when you have a report against any of your professionals or finance manager or head of finance, it doesn't matter what they're called, as long as they subscribe to some of these bodies, your role is to report. There are systems that have been put in place where you whistleblow and you're protected.
Indeed.
However, we don't also take your reports as, gospel truth. So a lot of background checks are done, and in the process, that person's account will be halted so that they either don't access it, or if someone is doing a check, if they're looking for a role or business or to support businesses, then when they get back to us, we're like, there is an embargo on this person's account, kindly hold. So those processes are there, and it's up to the public to utilize them. Now, if someone is convicted, then the professional status is retrieved.
I see.
On an annual basis, we publish, biannual actually, we publish accountants who are in good standing. And I know that our partners, ICPAU, also does that. ICPAU is the regulatory body in Uganda. So your role as someone who is hiring or someone who is looking for those to support your business is to look out for the ones that are in good standing. Good standing means someone is subscribed, someone has done their ethical declaration, they are actually following certain guidelines and they are upholding them. So if they don't, your role is to report.
I see.
Exactly.
So far, we have seen more men than women win these awards. I mean, in the last 4 years, you've held these editions. You do have Moses Cadbury winning twice, 2019 and also 2020, which is also good news. But then we would like to know why women are not winning more than the men. You did explain a little bit in our preamble. But this year, we'd like to know if there will be a difference.
Thanks for mentioning that, and it's probably one of the reasons we're here, is to call out the ladies and encourage them to show up.
This used to be their sphere.
Exactly, to show up, because unless you are nominated, then you can't be part of the competition, irrespective of all the good things you're doing. And I know there are quite many that are doing so well. The word CFO shouldn't be a detractor. It's a title, it's a branding, thing. But as long as you're the one that heads the finance function, either in an NGO or an SME, or you're below 40, because we also have the Young CFO Award for the young people who have excelled very quickly, please go ahead and nominate yourself or get your peers to nominate you. However, I also want to say we have had very good nominations from ladies. We had a top overall CFO Award winner, who was a lady in 2018, so I should throw that in. And out of the...
On the second edition.
Third edition, third edition. And out of the 40 awards that have been given out, 6 were female. 6 went to female. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have 50% of these awards. So ladies, as long as you are, heading this, please go ahead. However, we recognize excellence. So if the gents are excelling, go ahead and also be nominated. I don't want to, you know, genderize it, but to call out the ladies.
Dear ladies, please do clamor for these nominations. You can actually nominate yourself, if I'm not mistaken. You can nominate yourself as many times as you want, as long as it's not in the same category. You understand? Even for the men, it goes to you too. But then, ladies, you handle all the finances in the household. Seriously, you handle all the finances. During this pandemic, when situations were so hard, it was you handling those meager finances to ensure that the husband, the children, everyone, the whole conglomerate within whom you live in that house is actually taken care of. Why not clamor for these awards in that regard? You are a CFO naturally. Dear ladies, please clamor for these nominations. And dear parents, when the child says, please, I'm going for accountancy, do not say no, that it's riddled with corruption. Please. No, maybe that child is going to be the game changer. You understand? It's going to be introducing measures that will actually introduce ethical values that shall be governing the whole profession. But then, how many awards are we looking at in 2021? Ms. Kukunda?
We are looking at 8. The overall CFO award that is most coveted. The Young CFO award. Strategy execution, because that's very key for the new heads of finance. Finance transformation, because that's what they've been really up to in the last 2 years. And then the sector specific, which is SME sector award, public sector, a very big employer of finance professionals, and the not-for-profit sector. So we believe we've covered all. The new one is Sustainability Award. Sustainability is, you know, quite a hot topic right now, especially with COVID. Organizations are being put to task to demonstrate how they can maintain the sustainability of businesses and keeping in mind the climate, the environment, and the society or communities. That's where we are.
All right. That is Ms. Kukunda and also Moses. We are going to continue with this conversation, but I'm afraid I'm getting some breaking news from my counterpart. That is Comrade Mbide. He's around Endeavour. There is a raging fire that has been reported. Mbide, please bring us to speed with the details pertaining this matter. Mbide, good morning. You're live.
Romeo Busiku and the viewers of NTV, we're coming to you live from Ndeva, just at the suburbs of Kampala. And here, the people who are working in these carpenter workshops here in Ndeva are facing a lot of tears right now because they are mechanized. I'm talking about the wood and everything they sell here. The timber went up in flames around close to 2 a.m. according to the Uganda Police Fire and Rescue Services Commandant, that is Afande Joseph Mugisa. I spoke to him a few minutes ago. He told me that close to 2 a.m. at least this place, they got a distress call that a fire had broken out here. And here, some of the people who are working here, bantegezeza nti emaali yaabwe yatokomose era oluvannyuma lw'okutegeera ku muliro guno bangi basitukiddemu ne bajja wano. Ngenda kwogerako n'abamu ku bo bambuulire emaali yaabwe etokomose, balowooza bintu byenkana ki ebitokomose mu mbeera eno, naki kibalowooza kyavuddeko omuliro guno. According to the police, they haven't yet established the real cause of the fire. Naye kambuuze omukulu ono sebo gamba otya?
Bulungi baba oli otya?
Naawe okolera wano?
Okolera wano era ndi munakuwavu nnyo. Kinnuma nnyo.
Kiki wadde okola wano?
Kibadde nkola ndi wano wambaawo ndi engineer, enzigi zange 53, ngenza okukubira kasimu esimu naŋŋamba nti omuliro gwokyeza embaawo ate nga site already omusajja namusasudde ssente ze nendowooza mbu oba byakusaaga. Omuliro gutandise ssaawa 6:43 ez'ekiro, mbadde bali ku Masaka Road, omuliro ne gutandika, omuliro ne gubuka mu bbanga ne gwokya emaali y'abasajja, emaali y'abantu nange okutwaliza awamu. Gutandikidde wali waggulu ne gutandika okubuna, naye ate kitulumye nnyo, ate kitukoseza nnyo kuba ne mashini z'abasajja zifiiriddemu ez'ebbeeyi. Ebbeeyi etenkanika nga boolaba, era buli omu munakuwavu lwa mbeera eyo.
Kati emaali eno gwegibaliramu ofiiriddwa emaali ya ssente nga mmeka?
Nze just emaali yange enzigi ze mbadde naleese okuteekako zikkono na biki ebaddemu just miliyoni nga just 23. Naye ate abasajja bali mu kkaaba bawoza nti emaali efudde ya bukadde 3 zimashini z'abasajja zookiddwa. Omuliro just obuliro ekintu ekitono nnyo era kituluma nnyo.
Okay, webale nnyo. Sebo, now kitalo nnyo ekyabatuuseeko kibi nnyo, naye njagala otegeeze gwe ki kyewafiiriddwa muno wategedde ddi nti omuliro gukutte emaali yammwe? Erinnya lyo Sebo?
Amannya Kigundu Moses. Mukama nange emaali yaweddewo olw'ensonga nti kiteeberezebwa okuba nti kyavudde ku masannyalaze naye nga zibadde essaawa nga 6 ne batukubira essimu ne tujja kale olunaku lwajjo ffe twadde tutikkudde emaali naye nga tusanze muyonga bagezezaako okulwanyisa omuliro guno abafaya naye ekizibu kye tusanze nti n'amakubo gennyini gabadde si malungi olw'emmotoka ze twasuzizzaamu nga ffe abasuubuzi naye nga tubadde tusaba gavumenti etuyambe mu mbeera eyo olw'ensonga nti emaali yaffe yonna yakoze eki yaweddewo batudduukirireyo nga batuyambako mu kusitopinga looni ze tulimu tuyambako mu mbeera ng'eyo naye nga emaali yo yaweddewo kubanga tulina mashini ziri awo tubadde tukozesa
anaye ku mashini awo bannange musaba mumpe ku space awo omukulu ono ayogera ku mashini eziweddewo sebo mpa ku space awo that is one of the machines that he is talking about that were also gutted in this fire that broke out close to 1 a.m. Sebo gwe nga gwe olowooza maali gy'ofiiriddwa yenkanaki?
Emaali gye tufiiriddwa kati ebalirwamu miliyoni nga 15 ezifudde kuba zino okusookera ddala mashini ezo kati zo ziri miliyoni nga 15 tugattako n'emaali gye tufiiriddwa olw'ensonga nti embaawo zino zetubadde tukolamu ffe zaffe za adiwudu bwe buzibu bwe tusinza okusanga adiwudu tabanga kirungu adiwudu aseerebwa atundibwako ebbeeyi ya wagguluko
Sebo kibi nnyo kanfuneyo omuntu omulala omu asembayo atubulire ki ye kyafiiriddwa mu mbeera eno. Sebo kibi nnyo ekyabatuuseeko kibi nnyo ekyabatuuseeko naye gwe nga gwe Sebo wafiiriddwa ki kyofiiriddwa mu muliro guno?
Nze nga nze sigamba nti nakyenfiiriddwa naye nga mashini zetubadde tukozesa mu mirimu gye tubadde tukola kiba kitegeeza nfiiriddwa because kati saawa eno mba ngina okuspendinga time nga sikola kati kiba kitegeeza nti mu bye mbadde nkola byonna beera bistopinze because n'ebintu byaffe nti however much abantu batutaasizza naye n'ebimu babeera babitwaliddemu ab'ebyuma bye tukozesa nebikola ki nebirugenderamu so nze kyenyinza okwogera nti baneiba bange be bafiiriddwa nange nenfiirwa kukola ki nenfiirwa okufuna wenkolera kyenyinza okwogerako ku nsonga eno.
Ekifo nga kino kirimu abantu nga bameka bogamba nti bano bafiiriddwa emaali kubanga ndaba okuva sayidi eriyo naye mabega wa Shell waliyo ebibande byayokeddwa omuliro.
Eri mabega wa Shell tewakwatibwa because omuliro gwetooloddeawo bwe guti abantu balinza oba balinga nga 20 bibanda 20 ebyabantu abafiiriddwa ebintu byabwe.
Okay, Chibinyo, this is what is happening here in Chibuye, just behind Shell, after the fire that broke out close to 1 a.m. according to the eyewitnesses and according to the police and rescue services commandant Fande Joseph Mugisa says they came up and of course made sure they put out the fire, and by 5 a.m. they were successful in putting out the fire. But according to the people who work here, they are saying that some of them have lost close to 1.5 million shillings according to going by the value of these machines they use, and of course the wood they sell, the timber and everything here at the timber carpentry workshops here in Ndeba. We shall be finding out what was the cause of this fire according to the investigations that are being done by the police. This is Stephen Imbido Professor Chibuga. Of course, we'll be handing this in our subsequent bulletins. NTV at 1, NTV Akawungezi, and NTV tonight. Chibinyo Chatuse wano. Back to you, Romeo Busiku.
Thank you, my comrade Stephen Imbide, giving us details pertaining to that fire in Ndebe. A somber mood has blanketed that area. Area leaders need to go and arrest that situation and talk to the people so that their hearts can actually simmer down. There's a lot of tension that is actually brewing within that area. We also did notice that the individuals at that center did not clamor to actually ensure that they are wearing their face mask or ensuring any social distancing, so COVID-19 could be spreading right there. Still have Moses Kagbo and also Ms. Kukunda. We are going to give them 2 minutes so that they could wrap up their submissions. Now, if you are in Ndeba and you actually lost all your property in that Ndeba fire, you can also get some reprieve with Moses Kagbo. He's giving out leases. So if you can talk about border riding right now, he has something for you. In a few seconds, Moses Kagbo, tell them that you have something in store for them.
Certainly. Thank you once again. So Tugende is a company that is designed to provide this sort of support.
So if someone is in Indeba, where do they go right now?
Yes, so if you're in Indeba, I think the nearest office you can go, we have an office in Rubaga. Rubaga, right. So if you get to Rubaga office, they will give you all the criteria for you to become enrolled.
How long does it take for me to get this border?
So primarily between the information you provided and our vetting process between 4 to 7 days at a maximum time of 10 days.
Moses Cadbury, the winner of the CFO Awards 2019 and 2020, please, if you've lost your property within that Endeavour fire, go to his offices, any of these 30 branches, and you'll be able to receive some kind of help. Ms. Kukunda is already here. She's giving us her final pointers in a few seconds. Ms. Kukunda, I also do know that you had a list that you were telling me about, the SCCA list, where you pluck off individuals who are not espousing ethical values. Now, the viewer wants to know, are government officials also on this list? And if they are not, what does that mean? And is the reason as to why we are seeing so many cases of corruption?
Our government officials on this list. We have a very, good membership in government. The accountants who are good in government and they do the right thing. It's just the few bad apples that make everybody, get bashed up together. However, on an annual basis, we will publish, I think last year we had 1,604 active accountants and registered with us. But do not be surprised if this year we actually have less or slightly more. The point is, when you're recruiting or when you're working with them, find out why they're no longer subscribing to a professional body. Because if they're not an ACCA in Uganda and they're not a CPA or another professional, holding another professional qualification, it means they're not subscribing to any standard and they can choose to do what they want to do. So the onus is also on those who deal with these people to check how they are, working ethically, and to go ahead and report cases where things do not seem right.
Ms. Charlotte Kukunda, the acting head of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants of Uganda. Of course, we also did have Moses Cadbury. He is actually the winner of the 2019 and 2020 CFO Awards. And of course, he's also the CFO of Head of Finance at Tugende. Please, if you are actually suffering losses in Endeavour right now because of that fire, visit any of these 30 branches and you receive a border on list. You don't have to come up with so much money. My name is Rama Busiku. If any of the accountants you want to employ are not on the Association of Chartered Certified of Accountants of Uganda or on the that is Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, please do not indulge with them as far as business is concerned. They are quirks. Let's take a breather, return shortly with more information.